Welcome to episode 9 of how to make a turn-based combat system, a turn-based RPG, rather, in Prpject Spark. We're going to do so much more than the combat system, but I feel that's the first thing to take care of. So, let's see. Where we left off last time was we were having an issue with this here, this battle starting sequence. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to create another logic cube, and this logic cube is going to contain our battle start sequence, and we are going to kind of put it in between these two, in between combat activate and master combat. So whatever happens in our battle start sequence will be in that cube. And this is another way to make it customizable for you. We're going to copy this page, and then you can basically put whatever you want in this. But I'm going to go ahead and use what we've been using, just because I want something basic for now. I'm going to erase this page now, delete page, and we're going to delete that even. Now, right away, I am going to say, let's see. We're going to create this. I'm going to make it yellow because I feel like yellow is a pretty color. And that's what I do for a lot of things that are just UI and appearance. I know I did the reward in yellow, but that's because yellow reminds me of gold. Let's see. So this master combat brain is active. We are going to ignore this for now, and we are probably going to delete it, but I don't want to delete it before we decide that we don't need it anymore. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use in-world picker still, but we're going to go ahead and create one of those. So at the beginning of every battle sequence, at the beginning of every combat, this will happen. We'll create that battle start sequence. When we get over here, we'll say this is a template. When we get over here, we're going to need to actually grab this line that we ignored. We're going to grab it out of there. Countdown timer 3 seconds. We're going to need to do a couple things. We're going to need to activate that. We need to say that its charging equals true. But its charging will equal true after it becomes activated. And then we are going to destroy our battle sequence. Okay? So, order of operation. Start combat. Combat activate is activated. It runs all these lines of code. It's going to create battle start sequence. Battle start sequence runs through. Then it's going to destroy. It's going to, after 3 seconds, it's going to make master combat active. Master combat charging is going to equal true, and it's going to destroy itself. Once this is active and charging equals true, this will happen. When the combat is over, charging will equal false, and we will rinse and repeat. Let's go ahead and test it. Let's go ahead and test it. Big Astro Miner. So it ran the sequence right the first time. We are in combat. We cannot spam the A button, because we ran into that glitch earlier when trying to mess with this. Still can't do anything. We are good. 2 seconds goes by, and we are looking for combat again. So battle begins. And our issue now was that everyone was still charging, okay? So at the end of this, everyone was still charging. So let's get into here. See, everyone's charging right away, and we don't want that. So let's figure out why. When charging equals false, for each of fighters charging equals false. This will be something that we're actually going to do here on this screen. And we're going to say when in combat equals false, charging equals false. This is something that needs to be told to the player when they leave combat, and we're going to do that in all 3 of these. A little bit of redundancy, but it's okay because this is going to be specific to each player. So now what we're doing is we're going to the in combat page under the in combat boolean becoming false. we are saying charging equals false. Let us test this. Okay, it works the first time, obviously. It's always worked the first time. We shall slay these monsters. They're not goblins, they're monsters. Alright. So let's go back into our battle sequence. And nobody is charging. That's cool. But what we do need to do is, I would like it so at the beginning of each battle, our energy is reset to 0. So we're going to go ahead and put that over here as well. Energy equals 0. Again, a little bit of redundancy, but with the small amount of code that we're using to make it happen, I'm not too worried about it. I'd rather not do it this way, but I think it's a quick fix for now. And if I decide to do it differently later, I will definitely do it on video. All right, so we've gotten that taken care of. So let's go ahead and do an end combat sequence. We have a start combat sequence, but now we need a battle end sequence. How do we know that combat is over? We know that combat is over based on this line of code right here. Enemies count equals 0. Camera gizmo brain is active equals false. For each of players it in combat equals false. So I think what I want to do is I want to say that all of this, well, we'll do it like we did the battle start. We'll make it an object that is created, okay? So this is going to be battle end sequence. So this is going to be where we get all of our experience, where we get basically everything. And what we want to say is we want to move all of these into this brain here. So count down 3. After 3 seconds, we don't need this stuff to happen. We need that to happen. We need that to happen. And we need to say, the battle is over. Or how about this? Victory is mine. Alright, victory is mine. Alright, so when our enemies count is 0, we're going to leave the camera active for a moment. We're going to say after 3 seconds the camera is no longer active. After 3 seconds, all of those things will happen. But during this time, the players will no longer be in combat. Or no, we want that to happen after the 3 seconds also. And let's see how this line of code is written. After that, battlefield center brain is active equals false. It's selecting itself. Okay, so battlefield center brain is active equals false. We want this to happen. For each of players, it in combat equals false. And after that 3 seconds, we will say destroy. Is that right? So we'll give it another 4 seconds. So we want to make sure that all of that processes. We'll just kind of do this as a test for now. So now, instead of running this line of code when enemy count equals 0, we're going to have a new line of code that we run. We're going to say ignore for now. Ignore all that below. You don't have to write any of this yet. I'm just testing things. But you are more than welcome to tag along and write it with me. When enemies count is equal to 0, we are now going to say create objects in world picker battle end sequence. And we need to make sure this says started to. Alright, let's go ahead and test this out. We may run into some issues. I'm not sure how well it'll run our first shot, but we'll see what happens. Battle begins. We slay all of the monsters, not to be confused with goblins. All goblins are monsters, but not all monsters are goblins. Yeah, right. There's some nice goblins out there. Victory is mine. Oh, fail. Alright, we failed that pretty hard. So this is created for each of players. It in combat equals false. The camera gizmo is becoming inactive. The master combat is becoming inactive. Battlefield center is becoming inactive. And for each of players, it in combat equals false. Oh, for each of... We need to make sure it doesn't know what players is yet. So when it's created, players equals creator players. So it doesn't know what we just need to run that line of code once. It doesn't know what what players is. Now it does. So we can take off this countdown timer. We'll leave it there just for poops and giggles. We'll leave it there. And we'll enter combat. If we're lucky, we'll only face one goblin. Nope. Oh, sorry, monster. One monster would be nice. But nope, we have to fight 3. And when we conquer this final monster, oh, he's got to waddle over here and attack us. He got some high attack speed. Again, that's a randomly generated number, so he got lucky. Victory is mine. Yay! We have our end battle sequence. Let's try it one more time. There is a pause before that happens, and I don't know that I exactly like that. I think it's because the enemies are being destroyed like after 3 seconds. Yeah, so it's once all of them are dead. Hey, look at that. We have our in battle sequence. So what you can do now is you can put whatever kind of display you want in here, but what we're going to do is we're going to make an experience system, and we're going to implement this reward system. And what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to say destroy. So it's going to destroy the monster right when it dies. But what I also want to do is I want to say, before I destroy it, actually, we're going to say, let's see, this battle sequence. I feel like this battle sequence is going to be where we distribute the experience. So what we might want to do is say this. Make a new number. We'll say XP reward. XP reward incremented by XP reward. But we're going to use in-world picker. You're going to say is this a template? This is a template, isn't it? Yeah, this is a template. So is this a template? I don't think this one is. So we want to say this is an instance where I'm tempted to use a global, but I will not. Because I don't feel like it's going to be the best way to do it. But we want to use some sort of an in-world picker, like maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll say battlefield experience reward incremented by experience reward. Battlefield center gold reward. Gold reward incremented by gold reward. Okay, so now each monster is going to have a experience reward. Experience reward equals, we're going to say this monster has an experience reward of 20. Okay, and then he's going to have a gold reward of 20. Okay, experience reward, gold reward, call those whatever you want. We're going to call them experience and gold for now. So experience reward and gold reward, incremented by experience reward and gold reward, and then we are going to destroy that goblin. Now, we need to use those over here. Battlefield center, we're going to say display, victory is mine, display, oh, I don't know, gold reward at, we'll say screen center as well. And we'll say gold receive, whoops, or we'll just say gold, because I don't know how to spell, gold reward with 2 spaces, and we got to connect our awesome controller again, and we have our XP reward, which will make this look way more fancy later. And this one is our experience XP reward. Okay, we'll make this look way better later. But what we also need to do is we need to say that we might need to move that. We don't need that line of code anymore. We got to get our values somehow. So we're going to get these from our creator. There's again probably a better way to do this, but this is how we're going to do it for now. We may fine-tune it later on, but I really like the idea of creating this object. I really like having as many objects as I can, because now if I want to edit my battle end sequence, I just come in here. I don't have to go in here to edit my battle end sequence. I just do it in here. It makes it a lot easier for when you're sharing projects with other people like this. I'm going to eventually post this so people can use it. So if they want to change their end battle sequence, they don't have to go in here and look for it. They're going to be able to come into this object and do it themselves. So creator gold reward equals, oh no, sorry, gold reward equals creator gold reward, and experience reward equals creator experience reward. And we will display those. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say in here, after we create that, we're going to say started to gold reward equals 0 and experience reward equals 0. That way it doesn't carry over every fight. So let's test this, see what happens. And as long as this is working, we will call it a day and end this episode. So we have our combat. We charge at the monster, and the monster's dead, and that monster's dead. And gold reward 0, experience gained 0, and there's another 0 down there. Let's go to edit mode and see what happened. So my guess is My guess is beeping noises. My guess is what's happening is when we're creating this, our experience reward is being set to 0 before that other one gets its values. So what we actually want to do is we want to say in this battle start sequence, is this what we're looking for? Or the combat activate? Yeah, we're going to say battlefield center reward experience and gold reward equals 0. So they'll be declared 0 at the beginning of combat rather than at the end of combat. So bam, experience and gold reward are 0. We're going to kill these trace goblins. Pew 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 pew. And the final monster, I keep calling them goblins. Yay! Gold reward, experience reward. And that is my phone going off. And I'm not going to redo the video. You guys will have to deal with it. And we just have this funky little number that's showing up at the end of there. What is it? Oh, that one right there. Cool. So we have our end battle sequence. And yeah, we'll mess with it some more later, make it look all pretty, but we have an end battle sequence and a start battle sequence, and our combat system is working. I'm excited to get into some elements that are outside of combat, create some more stats that affect our characters. If you guys want to hear something specific or learn something specific, just leave it in the comments below, and we'll work on that. But until I hear otherwise, I'm just going to keep going on the path that I would normally go. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys.